What's going on with India's OTT communication apps? OTT communication apps are basically third-party instant messaging platforms that use the internet for communication. These apps include WhatsApp, Signal, Facebook Messenger, and others. In the second half of 2023, it was reported that the Indian government may be planning to create a regulatory sandbox for these OTT communication apps. A regulatory sandbox is basically a controlled environment where these apps can test new features before releasing them to all users. The purpose of this is to make sure that these apps can receive feedback from users and the government to identify any potentially harmful or misused features. The government would be involved in the Sandbox initiative to some extent. They would create specific rules and eligibility criteria for app participation. This way, they could ensure that any new features align with regulatory and legal requirements. And smaller startups could use the sandbox to get feedback and make improvements before they launch. The Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, also known as TRAI, is an Indian body that regulates the communication sector in India. It issued a paper in June 2023 on the eligibility criteria for companies to participate in the regulatory sandbox. They view this framework as a way to encourage startups and protect consumer interests. There is a telecommunication bill in India in the works. According to a recent draft, instead of going for a licensing regime, OTT communication apps may need authorization to operate. It was said that a licensing regime may be more stringent and could stall the growth of the OTT communications industry. But it's believed that an authorization to operate could balance regulation and industry growth. And who's eligible for the sandbox? Some think it should be open only to licensed Indian companies. Others say there might be a need to partner with licensed telecom service provider to participate. What is the future of OTT communications apps in India?